What's going on, everyone? It's Alex back here with your weather forecast. I hope you guys have had an amazing week so far. We've got a lot to catch up here, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. This weather pattern is about to change significantly. So, we're going to talk all about this in this video, and we have a lot more to talk about. So, let me just see if we got any signals here. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to go through this one by one. It's going to be a very interesting video. And disclaimer, I think at least one of these storms could be a major nor'easter that dumps feet of snow. It could be that. So, we'll talk about why in just a second. But getting back into reality here, we've had a severe squalling pass through Oklahoma today, and that spawned tornadoes near Norman, Oklahoma. That was some very significant damage reported over there. So hope everyone in that area is okay. But severe weather will continue throughout tomorrow. It will ramp up significantly. We could have a significant severe weather threat developing in the south, and that will continue all the way to the East Coast, I think. So, it's going to be a nasty day of storms, and it just refires for Saturday. Significant threat, heavy rain, and that's out of here. But again, after that time frame that I'm saying, it's going to get real interesting. And let me just tell you why. So, let's jump into our 500 millibar height anomalies. So, again, red, ridge. Blue, deep trough. You're going to notice what starts to happen is going to be very interesting. Thursday, again, trough, ridge. You get warmer temperatures across the East Coast. Actually, surprisingly enough, we did get up to 53.7 right now. So, that's actually very shocking. But anyways, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, ridge strengthens. Actually, a pretty strong ridge. It could be some pretty record-breaking temperatures for the East Coast. We will see about that. Saturday, Sunday, watch that trough starting to move through. And this is going to be that big trough that we're talking about. Monday, Tuesday, and watch what starts to happen. When that trough starts to exit out the East Coast, look at all this positive PNA going on here. Get into Monday, Tuesday. Look at that positive PNA starting to form. This is a classical look for major nor'easters. Watch how your jet stream starts to go from this to this, like a deep U-shaped. You get a trough embedded there, and you get another piece of energy over here. Watch what starts to happen by the time it gets to the 14th. Look at these pieces of energy starting to collide. Look at that positive PNA. Holy crap. And this will try to pull it up the coast. This little block of trough here, that's going to try to pull it up the coast. And watch what happens. Significantly deepens. We have another one developing, and that tries to pull up the coast. And we have another one. So this is going to be a very active time. That's a purple you're seeing up there. So this is a very strong positive PNA. Major trough. Trying to dive down, and then there's another one. And after that, dude, this is an insanely active pattern. If you want feet of snow, you're going to want to hope all these storms teleconnect. If these storms teleconnect, there are going to be big monsters, absolutely. And just to take a look on the precip side of things, I'm just going to show you right here what we're talking about. So this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's our first piece of energy trying to come together. It's going to be a close call. And I feel this area right in here needs to be watched. And I feel that there could be a big snowstorm threat trying to develop for you guys over here. This is going to be an area I'm going to be watching. This is your first piece of energy coming through. Low pressure, and it's going to be cold enough on the north side. Look, very close call. Actually, no. That's not the right one. That's not a close call. But the one after this, this is going to be a close call. Because you have that big trough in the south, and that's trying to put some snowfall down here. But watch what starts to happen. Starts to rank up some steam off the North Carolina coast. And this is going to try to curve up the coast. Again, that European signal, please watch out. Anywhere from New Jersey, Eastern Maryland, Delaware, Eastern North Carolina, Massachusetts, Boston, Connecticut, Rhode Island, even into southern Maine. This is an area that I think if this run shifts just a bit more west, this could be a major snowstorm, major mega nor'easter possible. And you can just kind of see just a bare miss. If this just shifted a bit more west by like 10 or 20 miles, this would be a formidable major monster for these areas right here. So I'm going to be highlighting this section right here. This is a section I'm really watching for Friday the 16th. This could be a very interesting time frame here. And I'm just saying this could be really, really potent. Now, let's get into the 17th. Lake effects starting to come through. Another area of southern stream. Watch this. Look how deep that trough is over here. You see those blue isobars punching all the way south into the Gulf of Mexico, into Louisiana? That 540 line is freezing temperatures. It gets all the way down into Louisiana, into New Orleans. That is a deep, deep surge of Arctic air. And this is why I'm starting to become concerned about this signal right here. This could literally be a monster snowstorm. This could be a winter storm or a Lena type snowstorm. And we were talking about it a few days ago, how this pattern is just going to be insanely favorable after this time frame. We were talking about it. Watch what starts to happen. You get your northern piece of energy here over the Great Lakes, and you get this massive southern stream moisture. And okay, now here, let's take a look at the temperatures. Freezing, huh? Yeah, that is freezing. And when we go back into the rain and frozen precip, that's going to be conducive for snowfall. Boom! Watch this signal. If this shifts just a bit further west, that is going to be a monster mega snowstorm right there. We could be talking about feet of snow if this just shifts a bit more west. Look at these red, maroon, purple contours offshore. That is a powerful system. Look at this. Look at this monster by the time we get into the 19th and the 20th. If this just shifts a bit further west, we are in for a snow mageddon. Literally. I mean, wow. That is a crazy snowstorm. 971 wrapping up just on the coast of Maine. Look at this wind. Wow, this is crazy. And even the European wants to throw additional energy into the mid-Atlantic with potential snow showers and squalls surviving all the way into New Jersey. Look at this, man. By the time we get to the 20th, massive high pressure. 1035 high, but not for long before we get our next major snowstorm. Look at this by the end of the European run. Look at this. We got rain on the southern side. Look at that heavy snow. Man, it's going to be so active, dude. This is going to be a crazy pattern, dude. It's actually going to be insane. Dude, I'm telling you. This signal, if we go back here, this is such a close call. This is one of the closest calls we've seen in a while. If this just shifts a bit west and starts trending that way, man, we could be dealing with a crazy snowstorm. And then the 16th, I'm starting to become even more convinced if this shifts even a little bit west, this could be another big snowstorm for New Jersey and this area here. Like Bernie Rayno said, I'm watching this area really closely. It's not a hurricane, but that's a major snowstorm potential we are watching for very closely. Now, let's take a look here at the GFS. Because the GFS is going to be very similar. And you're going to say, wow, we're actually in pretty good consistency. So, this is for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit of a clipper forming. But the big deal is when we look at the upper level heights. When we take a look at the 500 millibar height, same thing that's going to be happening is seen on the Euro. You get a massive trough, and this really starts to reload that positive PNA back. Watch what starts to happen. Watch. You got that trough to really dig, and it really starts to deepen 15th, 16th, 17th. Look at that big trough. That is a very nasty looking trough. Reloads back here for the 19th and the 20th. That's our next storm signal that could bring a major nor'easter. And then watch this. It just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So, if you would want to take a look at the rain and frozen precip, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. How south this precip could be. Okay, let's go back here to this. Because the latest GFS has this Arctic surge all the way to northern Florida. That is wild. Snow all the way into South Carolina. 16th, look at this. A snowstorm for South Carolina, North Carolina, and we got this northern piece of energy that's going southeast. If this collides with that, this will be a major snowstorm. Look at that low pressure. Oh my god. And we are really watching this. We're really watching this. If this shit's just a bit further west, oh my god. Yeah, it could be insane. Very close call on the GFS here on the 16th. Same thing that we're seeing on the Euro. Very close call. I'm watching this system real close. But now, let's get into the 18th and 19th. Look at what starts to form here. We got an area of snow trying to develop here. Watch what starts to happen. And then that gets out of the way. That gets out of the way. And then this southern system starts to really build. Look at that major southern snowstorm. Man, it's going to be active. But it's not as crazy as the 6Z GFS, I gotta admit. Because I think the 6Z GFS did some wild stuff with that. The 18th, 17th, did it do some wild things? It was close to, but it doesn't really do it. Now, let's take a look at the models in between. What about the Canadian? The Canadian has been a pretty good contender this year. And if you want to see good signals, you're going to see them. Wednesday, Clipper, maybe some rain and snow, but watch what starts to happen. Same exact idea. Southern stream energy colliding. North, watch what starts to happen. Low pressure, boom, okay? That gets out of the way. 16th, 17th, look at that snow diving all the way down into Ohio. And that's going to try to develop another low pressure. Watch this. That tries to form a snow event off the New England coastline. And then the 18th into the 19th, far Clipper. But it just tells you how cold this could be. If we take a look at the 0Z, does it have the same picture? Look at this. It doesn't quite have the same. But again, 15-16 time frame. Quite a bit of a nor'easter here. Quite a bit of a nor'easter. That dumps snow, and we get another Clipper. And if we take a look at the snowfall, yeah, you can see it. There's snow. There's snow. So, in conclusion, what are we talking about? We're talking about reload of Arctic air. That's the huge thing I want you to get out of this. And let's go over here to our trusted European. And let's just take a look at what I'm talking about here. And this is going to be your 2-meter temperature anomaly. So you see for this weekend you have a big ridge. That goes out. Maybe a bit of some warmth next week. But watch what starts to happen. You get this cold air starting to come from Canada. And watch what starts to happen. That could be a major Arctic blast. And then boom! The 20th, 21st, 22nd. That is 20 to 24 degrees below average. And I think that would average out to 0 to negatives. Look at that Arctic blast just surging eastward. It gets so cold. It gets so ridiculously cold. I just want to see the temperatures here, how cold it gets. -3, 0. Yeah, these are some brutal temperatures. And that's not the worst of the cold, though, for the 18th and 19th. Look at the 20th. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this look for the northeast by the time we get into the 21st. That is a very cold look. That is extremely brutal air coming in. Wow. Yeah, that's some very cold air. By the end of the model run, doesn't look like it's easing up. Main key takeaways. So, we have the southern stream energy starting to line up. What does this tell us? Is our storm track is about to become so crazily amplified. Any storm that taps into these teleconnections, this could be a potential to see a major snowstorm. Not just for Pennsylvania. I think the I-95 corridor is in the best spot we can have right now. Man, if any of these storms, and I repeat, if any, if it's the 16th, the 18th, the 20th, whatever, till the rest of the month, if that warm air collides with that cold air, with that southern stream energy, we're talking major monster snowstorm. Ones that dump feet of snow. And you just saw the GFS and Euro. They're on the same idea. But are they going to connect or are they going to miss? That's the thing I want to say. Is it going to connect? It's not if it's going to happen. It's when is it going to connect? I don't know. But I just have a feeling this pattern is going to become extremely snowy. Extremely snowy for the eastern U.S. And southern snow chances as well. So, man, this is going to be a very nasty snow event for at least one time between the time frames of the 15th and to the 30th. At least one major snowstorm event is likely. But when is that going to be? Or do we get all of them? I don't know. You know, this is a very tricky pattern. But I just have a feeling that southern stream energy that comes up here and interacts with that cold, brutal air from the north, they're going to collide and it's going to try to bomb out something. It's going to try to bomb out something. It's just going to try to. And just a look at the 16th here, you just get the idea. You have all the ingredients. Now you just need them to connect together. This is the best pattern we had in years, and it's only going to get better. 16th, look at this, man. I mean, just going back to this, man, if this just shifts a bit more west and hugs the Carolina coastline, tries to go up like that, that is a feet of snow situation right there. Because this starts to bomb out just off the coast. Man, that's going to be some insane stuff. That's going to be some insane stuff. So, you know, the main key takeaway, everything we have. We have everything. Now it's a matter of connecting and getting our major snowstorms. And I think it's going to happen. So anyways, guys, I hope you like this update. And for you snow lovers, winter is not over. Absolutely not. Even though we're seeing 54 degrees today, man, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt. It's going to come bite you in the butt when we get into mid and late January. It's going to get real stormy. Not just rainstorms. I think there's some pretty brutal snowstorms on the way. And there could be some feet of snow accumulating that time frame. I'm going to be watching this very closely. But anyways, have a great rest of your day and stay safe out there.